What's up, and welcome to another McMuscles Midnight Massacre. And we kind of have a different movie on the docket today.
Yeah.
One you were never really looking forward to
Really
watching.
resistant. It's been on Netflix for a hot minute, and you're always like, let's watch it, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. Bone Tomahawk. I had heard from several places that it's really good, and it had Kurt Russell in it. I'm like, well, I like Kurt Russell. What I didn't realize that it had a lot of people that I was like, oh, shit, I didn't know you were in it. Yeah. Like Matthew Fox, who no one's heard of for a long time now.
I was actually like, what has he done since Party of Five? Then I'm like, wait, he was on Lost for like 18 seasons.
That's true.
Of Lost. And then I thought about Lost and I got mad.
25 seasons, I thought.
Yeah.
There's also
that ending.
There's also, of course, from Eight-Legged Freaks, David Arquette.
Okay.
And also, Patrick Wilson from the Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, cool.
Yeah, you love him.
And Bone Tomahawk is a thing that I've heard horror thrown around. Like, I've been on websites and they were like, oh, it's like this horror western. And I'm like, cool.
I was like, that's not a thing. And you're like, no, it's horror. I'm like, no, it's a western. Get out of here. I'm not watching this. I'm not a fan. Okay, I do not stand like western movies. And
I'm not the biggest fan either, but there's been some westerns I've really liked. But
like what? Name two.
Django.
I mean, I guess.
No, not a guess. I mean, you're right.
Okay.
3:10 to Yuma.
I mean, I know of it. I have not watched it.
Tombstone. Not meh. These are good movies. And Unforgiven.
That's just your opinion.
Unforgiven.
Okay.
I mean, they're critically acclaimed.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with westerns. For this movie specifically, I don't know why I put it in my head that it was going to be a complex plot, and I was not going to be able to keep up with it, and it was going to, but it so wasn't.
To be fair,
it was so not what I thought at all.
It does kind of look like that from the Netflix entry. It looks like there's lots of characters.
Convoluted, all these characters, and I'm like, I do not have the brain capacity to sit here. I got 2 brain cells, and I'm not using them on this. And I was just like, no. And then you're like, we're fucking doing it for this.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine.
I mean, I heard from so many places that it was really good.
You kept saying that to me. You're like, no, but I heard. And I was like, people are stupid.
Good thing that we both liked.
Yeah, I did like it, and I'm like, I'm gonna say right now that I was wrong.
Okay.
To keep denying you.
So I can scratch one mark in the wall over there because that's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
One notch in the bedposts.
But Bone Tomahawk is a western with kind of a horror element, kind of more of a slasher element almost. But yeah, it stars Kurt Russell as the sheriff of this sleepy western town, and there's Patrick Wilson plays a goof that hurt his leg trying to fix the roof
when his wife told him not to go up there in the rain.
Yeah, Mrs. O'Dwyer. Yeah.
This isn't comfortable.
It's not supposed to be.
Who's like the doctor, but not because of her vagina of like the town. Like there's an actual doctor who's always drunk and he can never do anything. So they always ask her to do stuff like on the down low. But like I guess they're like women that don't know how to do anything.
Well, back then they weren't allowed to do anything. So
like she's like, okay, whatever, we'll do it.
She'll do it. She's really nice, stern but nice, and you meet a couple of other characters like the dad from Step Brothers, who's been in lots of stuff. That old actor, and he plays like
Monsieur Lenoge. That's right.
He plays the old coot that's always in a western, which I always love that trope. He's like, and he puts on this man is old, like he's in his 60s.
Yeah, but
he puts on an older voice. Where he's like, oh hey, son is 26 skidoo, and I'm like, what?
He's got his old man zingers too.
Yeah,
and they're pretty good. And this actor's really good, like really versatile actor.
He is, but you said that his zingers are really good. Strangely, a lot of the dialogue in all of this movie was really good. Like, it's clever. Like, it's almost
cleverly written.
It's almost Tarantino-esque, not quite there, but I was like, wow.
It's not up its own ass.
Yeah.
In that sense. But it was just, like, clever, but not trying to be too clever for its own good.
Yeah. And the movie sets off with a scene where David Arquette and creepy guy, the clown actor, Sid Haig.
Yeah, you should keep
Captain
saying his
Mosley.
name.
You just know that
creepy
guy.
Clown.
They run afoul of a tribe of Native Americans, and they're in like their burial ground or like their warning like area, like don't get out of there. And that just kind of sets the stage. Like you don't see too much of what happens, but you're both presume that they're gonna die. And then it kicks up back into this sleepy town, like I mentioned before, and the wife, Mrs. O'Dwyer, the doctor, and the deputy that works under Kurt Russell, they get kidnapped during the night.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who took them? And they have to go about a big rescue mission because they were with David Arquette's character that apparently...
he did some bad stuff.
He, disrespected their territory or whatever.
Looted.
So all these Native Americans, which another Native American character that, is friendly in the town and stuff, that he's just a guy that lives there, they're like, okay, which tribe was this? And he's like, it's no tribe.
Yeah.
It's inbred cannibals.
Yeah. Nobody messes with them.
And they're super powerful, and I'm not helping you. And they're like, you're not gonna help them. No.
No, he's like, you don't know what you're messing with.
You don't know what you're messing with.
And they're like, no, but we got to because they snatched my wife, the guy. He's like, they snatched her.
Patrick Wilson's, yeah.
And we gotta go get her. And they're like, well, it's 5 days ride away, which blows my mind that people made these voyages.
Yeah, it's crazy.
5 days by horse? I'm like, absolutely not.
I mean, I love my wife, but it's 5 days.
5 days! And they're like, we're trying to cram a 5-day voyage into three. So they were barely stopping, and Mr. fucking Crutches over there.
Bumleg.
I was like, and the sheriff, and whatever ragtag group. Who decides to go on this?
Matthew Fox, who plays...
a big old fop.
Yeah.
He's a dandy.
He plays that one character that's in Red Dead Redemption, or just oh, sir, I believe, no.
Yeah, his crisp linen suit.
Yeah, exactly. But he's like, I'll go, I'll save it. So
he's like, I'm rich and I'm pretty
bored,
awesome, and I got nothing better to do.
Yeah. And the old coot that I mentioned before, this is the ragtag group that's going to go save them, and they have a rough time of it trying to get from point A to point B.
It's not great out there. Not great out there.
The movie's pretty violent for most of its running time. After this long voyage, they finally run afoul of these cannibals, and they get pretty much ambushed, and they get brought up to their lair, and what partakes is probably one of the most violent deaths I've seen in a movie in a super long time, that I actually looked away from the screen for a second.
You did a little cringe.
It was more than that. I was trying to be tough in front of you, but I was actually like, oh god.
You're like, what is happening?
It's been a long time since I've seen a death.
And that's where I was like...
I saw you were like
I was like,
too.
okay, it is a horror movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess. But up until that point, I really enjoyed the voyage, the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, they made a lot of friends.
It was great. And I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be at all. That's the whole thing I took away, was
I didn't even get that from what I read. I thought it was just horror western, that's it, but it was quite different.
I really thought it was going to be a bunch of boring shit, to be honest. Yeah. I was like, it was a good time. It was getting there.
It was really good, but at the same time, that death was so horrible.
So bad.
I was thinking about it on the way over here, driving back, and I was just like, oh god, I have to talk about blowing up Tomahawk and that one down. I would definitely recommend this. It is on Netflix now. That's where we watched it.
It's been on Netflix for
a year or more.
This is a 2015 movie, and I think it's been there since 2016.
Something like that.
It's been on Netflix for a long time.
And Kurt Russell's really good. And
his facial hair.
You love his mustache.
His whole beard, mustache, everything in the hair on his head. I'm like, I really, really don't want it to be wigs. I really want it to be his real hair, because if it is, it's super impressive.
No, I remember seeing, because he has that same beard when he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, it's this big bushy beard, and I remember seeing pictures of him not on a movie set, and he's on wearing a tuxedo. He's got this big gigantic beard thing.
He's
so big ups for him. He's a man, unlike me, I guess. But yeah, Bone Tomahawk. I wouldn't say it's strictly horror, but it definitely touched a few of those vibes.
No, but what it is enjoyable, and that's what counts when you're watching a movie, right?
Yeah.
So you want it to be enjoyable.
First and foremost. But no, definitely recommend it, even if you don't like westerns. It's fine. It's just not your thing.
It's just not.
And it's usually not my thing either. I'm I have no love for the genre. I don't run out and see any movie. But if I see a movie that's good and it happens to be a western, I'm like, oh.
Well, did you ever watch Bad Girls?
Bad Girls?
Oh, I'm not gonna get into that.
You mean Thelma and Louise?
No, the western Bad Girls. It was so like, no? Okay. The acting is just so bad and cheesy, and that's what I always associate westerns with.
Okay.
Like overacting.
Oh, Bad Girls was with
You're getting that.
God, Penelope Cruz and the other girl, the other woman.
No, it has like Drew Barrymore, Andie MacDowell.
Oh no, there's a western with oh God, we're so getting so off track. There's
Just talk about westerns.
There's a western with Penelope Cruz and who played Frida?
Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek.
They're like besties.
Where they're western girls with guns, and I thought it was called Bad Girls.
Are they lesbians?
I don't know.
Because if they are, I'd watch that.
I don't know. But Bone Tomahawk!